Welcome, my loves, to Magnetic You, where science becomes strategy and frequency takes form. You know that moment when the world gets a little too loud, when every email feels personal and your patience walks out mid meeting. You're not rude, you're just running low because sometimes it's not attitude, it's low blood sugar. Sometimes it's not mood swings, it's just your metabolism. And it's definitely not bad energy. It's your brain running on empty. The moment when chemistry grabs the mic and compassion goes offline. And your body's shadow side can be cruel. For when you ask for calm, she can give cortisol. When you crave grace, she can send ghrelin instead. And when you need words, she can feed your hunger first. Today, we decode the mood before the meal, the biology before the bite, and the neuroscience behind your next apology text. Allow me to introduce no stranger of ours, Hangry, where neuroscience gets cheeky and self regulation becomes your new superpower. Your brain is the hungriest organ you own. She is 2% of your body's mass, and yet 20% of your total energy bill. She runs the highest demand establishment around, running 24/7, plating thoughts, seasoning speech, and simmering self control. And like any fine kitchen, she runs on fuel, glucose, her five-star ingredient. But when that fuel dips, even by 10 points, the metabolic equivalent of a banana or half a sandwich, the temperature in the kitchen starts to change. The staff get irritable. The burners flicker. The sauce breaks. And suddenly, the whole operation is trying to make magic happen from an empty pantry. Hunger doesn't make you irrational, it makes you resourceful. It's energy conservation disguised as chaos. When supplies run low, your head chef, the prefrontal cortex, the one who handles patience, timing, and grace, starts cutting corners to preserve what's left. No more artistic garnishes, no more long, careful plating, and no more polite explanations. She's rationing electricity and ingredients just to keep the kitchen open. That's when the amygdala, your sous chef with zero chill, storms in. She's not here for ambiance. She's here for survival. Cortisol clatters, adrenaline sizzles, and before you know it, the dining room is running on fumes and feelings. Because that's what happens when the body starts conserving energy. The finesse goes first, the fundamentals stay. The menu gets shorter, the tempers get sharper, and empathy suddenly off shift. That's why mild inconvenience tastes like betrayal, and everyone is chewing too loudly. When the kitchen runs out of fuel, instinct starts cooking dinner instead of intelligence. Inside our kitchen, hunger doesn't just change the mood, she rewrites the menu. Because the moment your body senses low supply, your hormones start behaving like dramatic line cooks in a crisis. Ghrelin storms in first, ringing the dinner bell. Feed us, feed us now. It doesn't just make you hungry, it heightens alertness and urgency, sharpening your senses while thinning your patience. That restless edge you feel when you're starving is ghrelin banging the pots. Cortisol follows, sleeves rolled up, shouting orders across the room, trying to hold everything together, while adrenaline cranks the stove to high heat. Together, they trigger an emergency release of stored glucose from your liver, a life-saving energy delivery that keeps you alive, but not necessarily calm. Meanwhile, leptin, the maitre d', the voice of reason, who decides when the dining room is finished eating, fed up with the mayhem, has left the building. Without her, the kitchen loses its restraint. There's no enough, just more, faster, and now. Serotonin forgets the seasoning, your patience, your optimism, and your sense of proportion. Everything tastes a little bitter when she's running low. Dopamine, the pastry chef, can't resist a little frosting of reward. She's already thinking about dessert before the entree's even plated. When glucose dips, the sweetness fades, which is why even simple tasks suddenly feel like obligation. And when energy runs low, the body amplifies the alarm to restore balance. It's like a chef tapping the burner up, up, and up, hoping that more heat will make dinner happen faster. Except it doesn't. It just makes everything boil over. Your heart rate climbs, the burner's flaring. Your breath quickens, the brain scrambling for missing ingredients. And your cells start rationing ATP, pulling power from patience and poise to keep the basics on the burner: your heartbeat, your blood pressure, and your alertness. It's energy conservation, not character flaw. Hunger tricks the body into thinking it's in danger, all in an effort to get dinner served. Because to your biology, empty means emergency. So, if you've ever wondered why one skipped meal can make the whole world feel like it's burning, this is why. You're not being dramatic. Your inner kitchen has simply hit peak service with no ingredients left. It's a full dinner rush with no head chef, no menu, and no maitre d'. Just instinct, adrenaline, and smoke. Every molecule shouting, no one reading the recipe, and the brain desperately trying to plate something, anything, to restore order. But this protection comes at a price. When the body redirects fuel from grace to grit, the entrees slip from chef's kiss to burnt edges. And when the system's under strain, emotion becomes heated. But it doesn't need punishment. It needs cooling, air, fuel, and space to rest. Because the moment you step back, hydrate, breathe, or eat, the temperature drops, the air clears, and the room starts smelling like possibility again. So let's bring this kitchen back to balance, because grace, like any good meal, isn't about perfection. It's about timing, temperature, and what you feed the system. Every great chef preps ahead, and your brain is no different. Before the rush hits, stock your station. Meals with protein, healthy fat, and fiber are your prep team. They slow digestion, steady blood sugar, and keep your burners at a smooth, even level. That steadiness keeps dopamine from dipping, cortisol from climbing, and patience from ghosting. Running on empty does not make you a hero. It makes you flammable. Because by the time hunger hits, your prefrontal chef has already left the kitchen, and your amygdala is already throwing utensils. So feed before the fire. Think of each meal as a mise en place for your mood, a little prep that prevents the panic. It's easier to maintain when it never burns in the first place. Every great chef also hears the moment a sauce starts to turn, the hiss before the boil, the silence before the scorch. And your body does the same. It whispers before it screams. That whisper lives in your insula, the quiet translator between body and brain. It's the one sampling the signals: tight jaw, fast pulse, shallow breath, and sends those subtle notes of something is off before it becomes a full-blown menu item. When you learn to listen, to name the heat before it flames, you strengthen the connection between instinct and intelligence. Every time you catch the early cues, you're rewiring your nervous system to respond instead of react. And you're becoming fluent in your own kitchen, reading the recipe of your reactions in real time. So catch the simmer before it burns, and that is how you stay the head chef of your chemistry. Before you overthink the situation, hydrate first. Even a little dehydration, just 1% to 2% drop, turns your inner kitchen into a pressure cooker. The stress hormones start to simmer, thickening your blood like an over-reduced sauce. When circulation slows, your brain doesn't get its usual delivery of glucose, its favorite ingredient, and it reads that lag as danger. Cue stress and snappiness, because water in this kitchen isn't just hydration. It's the liquid that keeps your neurons from sticking to the pan. Think of it as the brain's extra virgin olive oil. 5 minutes and 1 glass could balance your mood in minutes, because peace could literally be a sip away. And the secret every seasoned chef knows: when a dish starts going sideways, the first fix isn't panic, it's perspective. Your brain works in the exact same way. The moment you name what's happening, you stop reacting and you start regulating. So when you say, "I'm hungry, not angry," you move power from the kitchen's fire alarm, your amygdala, to the executive chef who actually knows what to do, your prefrontal cortex. Renaming the recipe before it boils over, because the second you identify what you're feeling, the emotional heat drops within seconds. Words reroute electricity from survival to sophistication. Language in this kitchen is the ultimate cooking utensil. It doesn't silence the feeling, it stirs it down to size. So, when tension starts to curdle, don't scream at it, season it, add clarity, add compassion, add words. Because in both cuisine and chemistry, naming the flavor changes the dish. And sometimes that's all it takes to turn hanger into harmony. These methods aren't for control, they're for your cooperation. You don't strong arm the kitchen, you flow with it. And a woman who understands her wiring doesn't fight her biology. She knows when to turn down the heat, when to stir, and when to simply let things rest. So, feed your chemistry, listen for the cues, keep the pots hydrated, and call every emotion by its name. Because when the ingredients are right, the calm cooks itself. So, what have we learned from our kitchen escapades? That hunger isn't weakness and emotions aren't failure. They are data from the body's back office asking for your reply. Every flash of irritation, every short fuse, every sudden, why am I like this moments is not your body betraying you. It's broadcasting your needs. The next time you feel the heat rising, don't curse the flame. Check the fuel. Because grace burns clean when the body's fed. You don't need to fight your biology. You need to feed it, listen to it, and give it the conditions to do its best work. Mastery isn't never burning out. It's knowing when to turn down the heat, to feed before the fire, to breathe before the smoke alarm goes off. In honesty, I don't believe you're actually hangry. I believe you're hungry and heroic, running a 5-star operation on fumes. You're not irritable. You're underfed, over-functioning, and doing your best to plate grace on an empty pantry. The next time the edge shows up, the tone sharpens, and patience packs her bags, pause the self-judgment and thank your body for her honesty. That tension you feel, that's data. The craving, that's communication. You are brilliantly, biochemically self-preserving. So don't fight it. Support it. If you're ready to feel fueled instead of fried, steady instead of scattered, to finally work with your body instead of against it, then the next chapter begins in MagneticYou coaching. This is where we integrate the new definition of balance. Not the woman who stays cool at all costs, but the one who knows her cues, her cycles, her chemistry, who doesn't apologize for needing fuel, who refills her power and plates her peace. Because we know this isn't really about food. It's about fuel for your focus, for your calm, for your power to move through pressure without losing your poise. And once you learn the recipe, you never lose the taste of it again. Your chef's tasting awaits you in the description. Subscribe because the current is good. Share because together is better. Stay luminous, stay true. Magnetic You.